today's video, we've got a cleaning video on the Kiger 9C-Pro, and I also want to go over just the normal wear and tear that we're seeing on this. Now, we were going to do a 500 round review video, but we ended up doing a defensive round video because this is actually going to get put into my carry rotation. So between that video and all the shorts and everything we've shot with it, we're sitting at about 750 to 800 rounds on this gun now. So what I want to do is we're going to get this thing taken apart. We're going to clean it. We're going to look at the barrel. We're going to look at the slide. We're going to see where all the wear marks are and how it's holding up. Now this gun is clear. There's no mag in it. So the first thing we want to do here is we're going to remove the slide. And we're going to set the frame off to the side. Now, with this, because I have the mass driver comp on here, we got to take an Allen wrench and we got to take this loose from the front. If you've never messed with one of these, they're kind of a pain. There is a spring right here in the front of the comp. Then you've got this, your guide rod, sticking out a lot further, obviously. And this is on a non-captured spring, so be really careful when you take that out. And there is also a bushing that goes up here in front of the slide. So don't lose any of these parts if you're running the mass driver comp. There's our barrel, and there is our slide. Alright, I got my little magnetic bowl here, and first thing we're going to do is take the comp, and we are going to use Breakthrough Clean Suppressor Cleaner, because this stuff does a really good job breaking down all that carbon and fouling. So we're going to spray that on there, and we're just going to let that comp sit. Now we're going to take our Breakthrough Clean all-in-one CLP here, and we're going to put a coat on this. We're going to let it sit, and the spring, I'm just going to wipe it down with a cloth here before we put it back together. And we're going to set all these parts in this magnetic bowl so we don't lose anything. Now the next thing we're going to do, take the barrel, we're going to spray this down with some CLP. We're going to spray some down in the inside. Just going to kind of wipe this on here, and we're going to let this sit, soak down in that barrel before we clean that barrel out. I'll set that right there. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take the slide and grab a punch here. We're going to remove the back plate. Just like any other Glock, very easy to take off. Alright, we're going to take out our striker here and spring, and we're also going to take this out here, and we're going to remove our extractor. Now you want to take this, flip it upside down, don't lose that. And there is a spring in there. There's your part. So don't lose any of this stuff. Alright, the inside of this slide is pretty filthy. So let's, we're going to hit this with some CLP. And we're going to take a brush and we're going to start cleaning this real good. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this military grade solvent from Breakthrough, and I'm going to put a little bit of this on a Q-tip, and I'm going to get inside this striker channel and clean it real good. Now, you will hear a lot of guys say they don't want to get any lubrication in there. Walther even tells you in their book, when you buy a gun from them, not to do this. But the solvent dries real quick. So it's not like you're putting a bunch of oil in there. But you see how dirty that is. So I want to clean it. And I've had guys before, they get all upset in these videos saying, well, you shouldn't do that. And well, I do it. And I'll show you when you're done and this actually starts coming out clean, what I do to get all that extra solvent and stuff out of there. So we're getting pretty clean in there now. Get in here and clean this too. Alright, see how dirty that is? This is a lot of stuff that people don't tear these down all the way. Get in here and clean this stuff out. But it gets pretty nasty in there. So this may be a little bit longer cleaning video than most, but I just want to show you what I do on these. Alright, that looks pretty good. I can live with that. Alright, now what I like to do, and I'm going to do this off camera because I don't want to be spraying a bunch of stuff all over my lens on my camera, but I take my air compressor and I'm going to go through here now. I'm going to blow all that extra solvent out the back. Alright, all in all, this slide looks really good. We're getting a little bit of wear right here. That's normal for any Glock or Glock clone pistol. Looks like we're getting just a little bit right through here. That's normal, and right in here, all this is normal. So nothing out of the ordinary here on this. Now, I do want to show you, if you guys do run a mass driver comp, I'm getting a little bit of wear right here, on the corner here and on the corner right there. So if you're one of those guys that doesn't like to get any kind of scratches on your gun, and you don't believe that these are tools, then you may not want to run that mass driver comp, because that little bit of wear right there will probably drive you insane. Now, here's the striker. This actually looks really, really good. Nothing out of the ordinary here on this. And I don't see any issues with this. Now, same thing. I like to take the military grade solvent from Breakthrough, and I'm going to spray this on this pad, okay? And what I like to do is wipe this down, but you don't want to keep this real wet. But we're going to clean everything off. All right, and while I got this right here, I want to do the same thing with this. Clean this real good. Take this plunger, we're going to do the same thing here. And then I'll show you this too. This is looking really good. Don't see any issues there. Now you could, if you wanted to, take a little bit of Flitz metal polish and your Dremel with a felt tip, and you could polish this if you want. But it's pretty well polished from Anderson, so I'm not going to worry about it. But all these parts look really good. Now, we want to get this excess solvent off here, so we're going to do the same thing again off camera. I'm going to take the air compressor and I'm going to blow these 3 parts dry, and then we're going to put everything back together for the slide. Alright, now the extractor. Extractor looks really good too. I'm going to just put a little shot of CLP on here, and we're going to take our rag. We're going to clean this real good. Alright. And we are going to reassemble our slide. Alright, so we're going to take this, put your spring back in there. Be very careful. Alright. Take your extractor. Alright, we got that in there. And we are going to slide that in. That is all there is to that. Make sure you have this orientation when you go to put this back in. Just like that. Put your striker back in there. Now what you want to do, easiest way for me to do this, we'll get this started. Take one of your bigger flat punches, push down on this, get that going. Alright, and then just take a smaller punch, press that down, and that's it. Lock your back plate in, and we've got everything reassembled on this except for the barrel, because we want to go over the barrel. Right, so this is looking really good. Alright, now the barrel. We're going to get our breakthrough clean battle rope out here. I'm about due for a new one, guys. This one is shot. You guys can tell that I shoot more 9mm on this channel than any other caliber. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of the breakthrough clean. I'll put some on here right in front of those bristles. I like to pull these through 3 times, 4 times, however many times you want to pull it through. Go ahead. Now we're going to take our brush and we want to clean here real well. Get up in here. Alright, and if you want, just take it, go ahead and wipe down the rest of the barrel real good. Now I know I've been using an air compressor, and I know a lot of you probably do not have one in your reloading room or your gun room or wherever you clean your guns, and that's fine. Just speeds things up for me a little bit. Alright, now we're going to take our rag. We're going to wipe this down really good. Now I'm going to take a Q-tip. Take that, go right through here. Clean that real good right there. Okay. That barrel is nice and clean. I've misplaced my regular breakthrough Battleborn oil, so we're going to use this Pro with the needle, and we're just going to put a little bit of oil on this patch. And what I want to do is we're just going to set this right there on the back of that barrel, and I'm just going to push this through. I'm just going to get a little bit of oil in that barrel. Do this twice. Alright, and we're going to take a dry patch and just wipe this down a little bit. Just keep a thin coat of that CLP on there. Other than that, good. So let's get into the barrel. We've got a lot of wear on this barrel, so it's all normal wear, but just keep this in mind. If you buy the Kiger 9C-Pro, this is not going to stay nice, pretty black for you. Getting a lot of wear here and here. I've had this with all of my Polymer 80s, Strike 80, and any of my Glocks. This is all pretty normal wear and tear, but other than that, the barrel looks really good. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our barrel back in our slide, and we got to put our comp back on. So we've been soaking this in CLP, so we're just going to wipe this down real good. Leave a thin coat of that on there. Now our spring, I'm going to take a cloth and we're just going to wipe it down. Now the comp, what I like to do with these is I'm just going to take my rag and we're going to wipe this down real good. And I am actually just going to leave that suppressor cleaner soak in there, because the next time I take this to the range and shoot it, it'll blow a lot of that out of there. So that's all I do with these comps and that suppressor cleaner. So we're going to set that there. And we got our last two parts. We got our bushing up in the front. Just take a rag, wipe it down. And we're going to do the same with this. Alright, now if you look at this, mass driver comp, guide rod and spring, if you look at this, you got your rounded part here. You want to keep this inside the channel of the frame. So you want this pointing down when you go to install it. And if you look at the rod, it can only go through one way because it is squared off on the sides. So when you look at this bushing, you can see where it's squared off on the sides right here. So you can only install this one way. Now when you go to put this back in, you want to take your flat side. It's going to go towards the barrel. And you just set that in there like that. You got to be kind of careful. I just like to set it down. And now we're going to take, that can only go in that one way. And put that in there just like that. And you're going to take your mass driver comp and you're going to put it back on the front. It'll slide right onto that guide rod. Take this spring, put it in there, and you've got your nut that's going to hold that on. We're going to take our Allen wrench and we're going to get it started. Once it's snug, I like to take it and just give it a little extra there, and there we go. Our slide is all back together. Alright, now the frame. Now this frame is filthy. There's multiple ways you can clean your frame. A lot of guys will just take CLP, take their brush, and they'll start cleaning everything up. You can do that. The other option, you can take out your whole trigger assembly, your block, all that can come out and you can clean it that way. Or you can do what I'm going to do. Now this is another thing, and a lot of guys either like it or they don't, and it's up to you. But what I'm going to do is take this rim action cleaner, and I'm going to have to do it off camera. I'm going to spray this all down real good, and what this will do is it's compressed, so it'll kind of blow all the gunk out of here. Then I'm going to take my air compressor and I'm going to shoot it through dry. Now the mag well and everything on this is filthy, and if you guys have watched my cleaning videos before, I like to take one of these mag cleaning brushes and I brush the inside of this out. So this is how I'm going to do it. Now before I do the air compressor, I'm going to run this through after I spray this in there and get that all cleaned out. So let me do this off camera. You do not want to get this stuff on your camera lens. It will ruin it. Alright, I got that soaked down, so I'm going to take my mag cleaning brush, get in here and clean this all out. Alright, now if you look in here, see how clean that is already. It's got all that gunk and everything out of there. So I'm going to take this off camera with the air compressor and blow it dry, and then we'll start looking at the frame. So we sprayed the action cleaner in there, took air compressor, dried everything out, and you can see everything is spotless in here. Now one thing about that action cleaner, it is kind of expensive and it doesn't last very long, so keep that in mind. Now what I do want to do, because that action cleaner pretty much just strips everything, so we're going to put a little bit of this battle-born oil on a clean cloth. Now I just want to wipe down all these metal parts real good. Get our bar here and get this on the back. Just get a little coat of oil on everything here. And then you can take another cloth if you want, get some of that excess off. You don't need a bunch in here. As you can see, this thing is nice and clean. I do not see anything weird going on in here at all. So the frame looks great. Now, before we put the slide back on, I like to take this Battleborn Pro and I just want to put a little bit of oil on these rails. Before we go putting the slide back on. Alright, so we're clear. No mag. Let's check function here. Everything's good. Nice reset. Alright. Alright, I went and grabbed a clean microfiber towel because the other one has just got a lot of oil in it. And what I want to do is just, we're going to wipe everything down real good. This thing is all back together. It's nice and clean. Alright, last thing we got to do. We want to clean our optics. So I use these BioPure lens cleaning wipes. I've got some Amazon brand ones upstairs in the studio. Doesn't really matter. They're all lens cleaning wipes. They're just an alcohol wipe. I like to take that wipe and we're going to just wipe down the lens real good. We're going to get the inside. Get this good and wet with this alcohol pad. And then what I like to do is take a lens clean cloth, a dry one. Now you got to make sure if you're keeping this on your cleaning bench, don't get any oil on it or anything because you don't want to smudge a bunch of oil all over your lens. And wipe that out real good. Just kind of buff it with this. And there we go. Nice and clean. This optic is awesome. It's holding up well. Well, there we go. There is our Kiger 9C-Pro cleaning and wear video. And that's all I got. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.